If I had my first $5,000 in the United States, I would not rush to invest it or try to get rich quickly. The first thing I would understand is that $5,000 is not a lot of money. But if used correctly, it can completely change my financial future. The goal at this stage is not to impress anyone, but to build a strong foundation. Most people make the mistake of asking, how can I double this money fast? That mindset usually leads to losses. Instead, I would ask a better question. How can this $5,000 protect me, educate me, and put me ahead of the average American? The first thing I would do is mentally divide this money into different jobs. Every dollar needs a purpose. Money without a job gets wasted. In the USA, financial stability comes before financial growth, so my first priority would be safety, not returns. The very first portion of my dollar, $5,000, would go toward building a small emergency fund. I would set aside about $1,500 to $2,000 and put it in a high-yield savings account. This money is not for investing. It is not for spending. It is insurance. In the United States, one medical bill, car repair, or job interruption can destroy people financially. An emergency fund keeps you from going into debt. This emergency fund would give me peace of mind. It would stop me from using credit cards for emergencies. It would allow me to make calm financial decisions instead of desperate ones. This step alone already puts me ahead of millions of Americans who have no emergency savings. After securing basic safety, the second thing I would focus on is my credit score. In the USA, your credit score is more powerful than your resume. It decides how much interest you pay, whether you can rent an apartment, and how easily you can borrow money. If I already had a credit card, I would make sure my balances are low, ideally under 30% of the limit. If I had no credit history, I would use part of my money, around $300 to $500, to open a secured credit card. This is one of the smartest uses of money in America. Would not carry balances or pay interest. Would use the card for small expenses and pay it off in full every month. This builds trust with the financial system. A strong credit score saves more money long-term than almost any investment. Next, I would invest in financial education. Not expensive courses, not gurus, but real knowledge. I would spend maybe $200 to $300 on books, tools, or learning resources that teach personal finance, investing, and taxes in the USA. Understanding how money works in America is a huge advantage. Most people never learn this. They earn money, but don't know how to manage it. Knowledge compounds faster than money at the beginning. Once my safety net, credit foundation, and basic education are in place, only then would I think about investing. With the remaining money, maybe around $1,500 to $2,000, I would start investing slowly and simply. I would not try to pick individual stocks. I would not chase hype. I would start with low-cost index funds or ETFs that track the overall U.S. market, like the S&P 500. This gives me instant diversification and lets me grow with the American economy. The goal here is not to make fast money. The goal is to build the habit of investing. Consistency matters more than the amount. Starting early in the USA is extremely powerful because of compound interest. At the same time, I would keep some cash available. I would not invest every dollar. Flexibility is important when you are starting out. Cash gives you options, and options are valuable. Another thing I would do with my first $5,000 is improve my income potential. In America, your biggest wealth-building tool is not the stock market. It is your ability to earn more money. I would invest time, not necessarily money, into learning a high-value skill. This could be something like sales, digital marketing, basic tech skills, or any skill that increases my earning power. Even a small income increase makes saving and investing much easier. I would also avoid lifestyle inflation. Just because I have $5,000 doesn't mean I should upgrade my lifestyle. No expensive phone, no flashy purchases, no trying to look rich. In the USA, looking rich and being rich are very different things. I would live below my means and let my money work quietly. Wealth in America is built silently, not loudly. Another smart move would be understanding taxes early. Even with a small amount of money, knowing how taxes work in the USA is powerful. I would learn the basics of tax-advantaged accounts like Roth IRAs and employer 401k plans. If I qualified for a Roth IRA, I would consider putting a small portion of my money there. Roth accounts are extremely powerful because future growth can be tax-free. Starting early matters more than starting big. I would also avoid bad debt at all costs. No high-interest loans. No unnecessary credit card balances. Debt is one of the biggest wealth killers in the United States. Staying out of debt is often more powerful than earning high returns. Emotionally, I would remind myself that $5,000 is just the beginning. It is not the finish line. The habits I build with this money matter more than what this money itself becomes. Most Americans struggle financially not because they don't earn enough, but because they never build a system. My goal with my first $5,000 would be to build a simple, repeatable system. Save, protect, invest, and grow. Over time, I would add more money to this system. Each paycheck would strengthen it. Each year would compound it. This is how real wealth is built in the USA in the end. If I used my first $5,000 correctly, it would not just grow financially. It would change how I think about money. It would give me confidence, discipline, and control. That is the real value of the first $5,000 in America.